Like, subscribe and comment to win one of the 3 copies of Dragon's Dogma 2 in the Gaming Analytics giveaway. Thanks to multiple gameplay reveals in the past few months, I've compiled an extensive list of vocation skills disclosed to date for inclusion in Dragon's Dogma 2. In this video, I'll delve into the Thief skills that have been revealed thus far and are slated to be featured in the game upon release. While a substantial portion of these skills were presented at the Tokyo Game Show, it's worth noting that the footage quality is fairly poor. Nonetheless, we can still decipher the in-game descriptions for these skills. So with that said and done, time to uncork your inner dork and let's get nerdy. The first of the returning core skills is Carve, which is the Arisen's basic light attack, unleashing a flurry of blows with the dagger. The advanced version of Carve in DD1 was Engrave, which follows up the initial attack with a series of kicks. Carve and Engrave are extremely useful against skeletons, metal golem discs, and for breaking shield guards. The second of the returning core skills is Scarlet Kisses, which is described as unleashing a flurry of forward slashes. Scarlet Kisses could then be enhanced in Dragon's Dogma 1 to 100 kisses, and again in Dark Arisen to 1000 kisses, with each of these increasing the speed and the amount of slashes in the flurry. These upgraded versions, however, have not yet been showcased for Dragon's Dogma 2. Next up is Controlled Fall, which tucks the body into a tight roll when hitting the ground after being knocked down, allowing the user to quickly regain their footing, reducing the damage taken upon impact. The fourth core skill that we're going to be talking about is Twin Fangs, which is the Thief's heavy attack, and described as performing a deadly double strike forward, followed by a powerful successive strike if the target is knocked off balance. Twin Fangs also enables clinging to large targets and pinning down smaller flinching targets. Next up is the core vocation action Swift Step, with which the Arisen lowers their stance and renders their movement swift and light, and as a consequence, very effective as an evasive maneuver. The sixth core skill that we know of thus far is called Bump and Lift, which robs the target of an item when an attack connects. The Bump and Run skill is activated when using the Carve skill, but has a low success rate. Last but not least for the core skills is Footpad, with which the Arisen kicks off of a wall, allowing the user to launch themselves a great distance. Particularly useful when attacking mobs, to try and get to hard to reach places, or to scale a large enemy from an angle. In addition to these core skills, in the Dragon's Dogma 2 footage and reveals we have seen a total of 10 Thief weapon skills so far, 5 which are returning skills from DD1 and the remaining 5 are new to the franchise, with the first 2 being Biting Wind and its upgraded version Cutting Wind. Biting Wind is described as dashing past the target with blades extended, followed by further slashes when using the same attack on contact. The Biting Wind skill can be used repeatedly to employ multiple follow-up attacks at no additional stamina cost. And due to the speed and distance traveled, this skill can also be used to evade or escape. However, if facing an enemy, it will tend to target them. As mentioned, Biting Wind is upgradable to Cutting Wind, and both of these have been confirmed for Dragon's Dogma 2. However, within Dark Arisen, this could be further upgraded to Shearing Wind, increasing the attack range and the amount of strikes with each upgrade. No word yet if Shearing Wind will make it into the final build of Dragon's Dogma 2. The next Thief weapon skill is Helm Splitter, with which the Arisen leaps up, then drives through the air while spinning blades extended. More powerful when performed from high places, and is also employable in mid-air. This upgrades to Skull Splitter and then becomes Brain Splitter in Dark Arisen, increasing the spin speed and the number of attacks with each iteration. Traditionally, with their flurry of strikes, the splitter skills are effective at damaging specific weak points, such as monster heads or hearts, and can quickly inflict debilitations when used in conjunction with weapons containing a secondary effect. Power Charge is the next skill, which is described as placing an explosive on the ground at the user's feet that can be detonated from afar at a moment of their choosing. And this can also be employed while clinging to or pinning down a foe. In DD1, Power Blast is the advanced version of Power Charge, which could then be further enhanced in Dark Arisen to Power Barrage, increasing the power and the number of blasts with each iteration. Furthermore, there is also a small shockwave associated with these blasts, which do not cause physical damage, but could stagger or knock down enemies and creatures caught within the blast radius, and they could be inflicted with debilitations associated with the weapon held when the skill was activated. Next up is Ensnare, with which the Arisen casts out cords to snare targets and tug on them, pulling smaller targets closer and toppling larger targets when they have been knocked off balance. Great for fighting enemies blocking with shields, and effective even on large foes like Cyclopses, if activated when those foes are in a vulnerable state. However, success does depend on the weapon knockdown ability and the creature resistances. Within Dragon's Dogma 1, Ensnare could then be upgraded to Implicate, enabling the Arisen to lasso multiple targets when activating the skill. The remaining Thief weapon skills are brand new in Dragon's Dogma 2, and therefore we have no analogy to draw from within the previous game. The first of which is Enkindled Blades, described as brings the daggers together to ignite, wraithing them in flame for a short time, can also be employed while clinging to or pinning down a foe. The second is Shadow Cloak, stating enables the user to blend into their surroundings, rendering them more difficult for hostile targets to detect, less effective when attacking or dashing, consumes stamina while active. Next is Concussive Step, which reads, uses an explosive blast to withdraw from the point of detonation. The blast might cause lightweight targets to flinch, and also employable in mid-air. The fourth is Smokescreen, which is described as throws a smoke bomb that blinds nearby targets, useful for creating chaos when counter-attacking or withdrawing, can also be employed while clinging to or pinning down a foe, or in mid-air. And last but not least is Gut and Run, described as cruelly stabs and gouges the target before drawing back, a fearsome powerful skill employable only while clinging to or pinning down a target. Inflicts greater harm to a foe's weak point. Along with the 22 weapon and thief core skills, we also know of 5 thief augments that will be coming to Dragon's Dogma 2, being Subtlety, Gratification, Poise, Vigor and Verve. The first of which is Subtlety, which decreases the likelihood of being targeted by foes. Gratification, on the other hand, slightly restores health when delivering the killing blow to a foe. Poise reduces the stamina consumed when struggling in a foe's grip. Vigor reduces the stamina consumed when clinging to or pinning down targets. And finally, Verve augments the Arisen's strength. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every view. Before you go, please remember to leave me a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave me a comment down below if you want an entry into the Gaming Analytics Dragon's Dogma 2 giveaway. Until then, stay nerdy.